Okay, we are now ready to begin. And it is important to notice that just before we begin, this cardigan will be available to make in 3 different sizes. So the sizes that are available are as follow. There is size 32 to 34 inches around the chest area, and the actual measurement becomes 37 inches. The next size is 36 to 38 inch bust size, which the actual measurement will become 39.5 inches. And a 40 to 42 inches chest, which the actual measurement of the item will be 43.5 inches. And here, the numbers that you see are the actual starting chain that we are going to make. So if you're going to do the size 32 to 34 inches, you're going to have to chain 68. And if you're doing the next size, you're going to have to chain 76. And the final size will be chain 84. So let's, without further ado, begin. Okay, so I am doing the first size, which is 32 to 34 inches. So I will start my starting chain with 68 chains. So I will get my notes away from here and I will begin. So I will start with my slip knot. Maybe I'm a little bit too close, I'm not sure. Okay, that's a little bit better, isn't it? I do apologize for the glare on the table here. This can't be helped. Outside and inside the house, it is a very dark day today, so I really feel we need this light on. But unfortunately, that means we have a little glare right here. So please try and ignore this. So we're ready to begin. We will start with our slip knot, and I will assume that you know how to make a slip knot. If not, just watch me very carefully. It is not complicated at all. Ooh, and let's not forget that it is a 5mm crochet hook. Can't see that at all. It's not focusing. Focus, there we go. It takes a while to focus, doesn't it? Alright, a 5mm crochet hook in the USA. I don't know what it is, but when I will put all the notes in the description box below, I will definitely make sure that you will know what a size 5mm hook is. Okay, so the slip knot. The way I do it is very simple. I wrap the yarn around my finger just like so, so it can form an X right here. Forms an X. Then I put my hook through this loop right here, the first loop. Typical, isn't it? As soon as I get on camera, the phone jingles. Honestly, when I am off camera, the phone is just completely silent. When I'm on camera, it goes like a Christmas tree. Go figure, right? Anyway, so we will try not get distracted anymore because this is important. We need to get all the details possible. So I will put my crochet hook through this loop right here, like so. And I will grab the other bit that's right behind, like so, and pull it through. Now I will let go of the finger and I can now tighten it up. But don't tighten it too tight. There we go. It has to go on the hook quite nicely. So now you have to chain 68. So we will begin. So you grab the yarn and pull through. This is one chain. Grab the yarn and pull through. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to pause and I'll join you when I'm finished with my chain, and I'll tell you what to do next. So we are now ready to start with our foundation row. I have now my 68 chains and ready to begin. It is important to note that this loop doesn't count as anything. So we are going to do a double crochet in the third chain from the hook. So we're going to count from here, 1, 2, and 3. In this chain here, we're going to make a double crochet. Oh, and for those who don't know how to do a double crochet, it is very simple. You're going to yarn over the hook, insert your crochet hook into this stitch here, into the third chain from the hook, and yarn over and pull through. Then you're going to yarn over and pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2. Go into the next chain and do exactly the same thing. Do another double crochet, and into the next chain the same thing. We're going to finish this row by doing a double crochet into each chain to the end. So I will pause now and I will meet you at the end of the row. At the end of this foundation row we have 66 double crochet plus the chain 3, which counts as a double crochet. So in total we have 67 double crochet. So we're going to turn our work around, and now this is going to be our right side. We are ready to proceed to our first row of the ribbing section. So we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and remember this always counts as a double crochet from now on. So into the next stitch we are going to do a front post double crochet. So to do a front post double crochet, you're simply going to work around the post of the stitch right here. And so you're going to do a yarn over, just like you're going to do a double crochet. And instead of going through here like we normally would here, like so, you're not going to do that. You're going to do that into the post. So from front to back, you're going through here, just like so. Then you're going to yarn over and pull through. And now you're going to complete your double crochet. I'm going to start that again because I think I went out of camera focus. It is so hard to know where to be, where to stay. So, okay. So, you're going to yarn over and put your hook through just like so, from front to back. And once you're here, you're going to pull through the yarn, just like so. And now you're going to complete your double crochet as usual. Yarn over and pull through 2. Yarn over and pull through 2. Okay, occasionally it kind of sticks, especially when I'm in front of the camera. Okay, it is a very awkward angle, and yeah, so it's always very awkward to make some tutorials, but hopefully you'll be able to follow what I'm doing. So into the next stitch we're going to do a back post double crochet. So this time you're going to yarn over, and instead of going from front to back, we're going to go right to the back, just like so. And put your crochet hook through, and then right here where there's the post, you're going to put your hook through here just like so, and then grab your yarn. There we are, and then complete your double crochet. There we are. And into the next stitch, you're going to do a front post double crochet. And into the next stitch, we're going to do a back post double crochet. And front post and back post. And you're going to do this all the way along to the end until you've got one stitch left. So I will carry on and let you carry on. You can pause if you like. And when I get to the end of the row, I will show you what to do next. So now we have finished the first row of the ribbing section, or almost. I have got just one stitch left, which is the chaining 3 from the beginning here. And on top of that turning chain, I will put in a double crochet, just like so. Turn our work, and now we can start on the second row of the ribbing section. And so we're going to chain 3. Remember, this always counts as a double crochet. So into the next stitch right here, right at when we first started, right there on the first row, this was a front post double crochet. But now that we're turning our work around, you might see that the stitch is on the other side. And so for us now, we're going to start this row with a back post double crochet. There we are, back post double crochet. And into the next stitch, you will see it is right here, right in front of you. There you will put in a front post double crochet. And into the next stitch, it is facing the other way, so that will be a back post double crochet. And the next stitch is facing right here, so this will be a front post double crochet. And we're going to do this all the way along, and you're going to end with a back post double crochet, and you will have one stitch left. So I will meet you here and I will show you what to do next. So we are at the end of the row 2, and we've got one stitch left, or I should call it the turning chain. Maybe I should get a bit closer. Okay, so this is the top of the turning chain, and we are going to put in a double crochet. And this is our work so far. So we're going to turn our work around, and we're going to do row 1 again of the ribbing section, where we're going to chain 3, and into the next stitch we're going to do a front post double crochet. And into the next one we're going to do back post double crochet. And we're going to alternate just like so until the end of the row. Once you've done this row, turn your work around and do row 2 of the ribbing section. And we're going to end with another row, which will be the first row of the ribbing section. When you get there, I will tell you what to do next. Alright, we are finally done with the ribbing section. So we have done the foundation row, and then we have done 5 rows of front post and back post double crochets. We are now ready to move on to the main part of the back of this cardigan. So as some of you will notice, I have got some stitch markers here, and this part is completely optional. This is just a little tip that I use myself, because sometimes when we work with single crochets, sometimes the first and the last single crochet we might miss it and we end up with a stitch less, or we might make an extra stitch and it's not very good. So for this reason I like to use stitch markers. When I finish my first single crochet, I put a stitch marker in that stitch, and the same with the last single crochet. Whilst it might seem like it's a giant pain, I can assure you that after a while this thing becomes second nature to you. You won't even think about it. You will move the stitch marker, do your stitch, and replace your stitch marker. So, but anyway, this is completely optional. Let's move on to the first row of the body of this cardigan. And oh, by the way, did I mention that it is a 2-row repeat? Okay, row 1 of the body of the cardigan. So we will chain 1, and this does not count as anything at all. In the first stitch, right here, we will put in a single crochet. Just like so. And when you've done that, optional of course, but I will put in my stitch marker immediately. Here we are. Then you will chain 1. Focus. Thank you. Skip the next stitch and into the next one. Put in a single crochet right here. Chain 1. Skip the next stitch right here and into the next. Put in a single crochet. Chain 1. Skip the next stitch and into the next. Put in a single crochet. So what we're doing right now is essentially called a moss stitch, and it is very simple and very repetitive. So go ahead and do this until the end of the row, where you just chain 1, skip the next stitch, and into the next stitch put in a single crochet. It will go really quickly. So I'm going to pause now. I just wish this camera would just focus and stay focused. I will pause and I will join you at the end of this row. I'm at the end of the row number 1 of the body of the cardigan, or almost. I've got 2 stitches left. So all I have to do is chain 1, skip the next stitch, and into the turning chain right here I will put in a single crochet, and stitch marker comes. Here he is. So once this is done, you will just have to turn your work around and work on to the second row. Oh, before we turn this work around, before we do, this is the side facing you, and I think we will consider this side as being the right side. So before we do anything, I am going to put a stitch marker in any stitch here, simply so I know that this is the right side. So when we do the second row, the wrong side will be facing us. Okay. So let's continue. To go up to the next row, we're going to chain 1. And you see what our stitch marker is right here in that stitch? We're going to put in a single crochet. Okay, so for those who don't really know what the moss stitch is, One row is simply a single crochet, and then there's a chain 1, then there's a single crochet, chain 1, single crochet, chain 1. The next row is the first stitch, and the last stitch will always be in every row a single crochet. And now in the second row, next to the first single crochet right here is a chain 1 space. In that chain 1 space, we're going to put in a single crochet. So, single crochet. So on the second row, we have 2 single crochets next to each other. Okay, so now we're going to chain 1, and we're going to skip that single crochet from the row below, and into the chain 1 space, we're going to put in a single crochet. It is that simple. Chain 1, skip the next single crochet, and into the chain 1 space right here, we're going to put in a single crochet. Chain 1, skip the single crochet, and put in a single crochet in that chain 1 space. And we're going to do that all the way along until you've got 1 stitch left and 1 chain space left, and I will tell you what to do. I am at the end of the second row of the main part of the cardigan, of the back of it, of course, and I've got single crochet here, then a chain space, and then a single crochet. So what we're going to do now is chain 1, skip that single crochet, put a single crochet in that chain space here, and we have 1 stitch left where the stitch marker is. In that stitch we're going to put in a single crochet. That concludes the second row. You're going to turn your work around, and you're going to start the first row again. So that's chain 1, single crochet in the first stitch, and you're going to chain 1, skip the next single crochet, and in the chain 1 space you're going to put in a single crochet. Chain 1, skip the next single crochet, and into the next chain space put in a single crochet. And what you're going to do is basically them 2 last rows until the back is long enough. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do a few rows, and I will be back here to show you how it is looking. Okay, so I have done a few more rows, and oh, sorry about that. And so far this is how it's looking. I really do like this stitch. It's got a lovely texture to it, and it's so quick to do and very addictive, and I don't even have to think about what I'm doing. I just seem to be doing it fine, and it's really enjoyable. So I hope you're enjoying it too, and well, so far so good. And I think it is worth mentioning that if you find that this is not as large as you would like it to be, perhaps you could go up a size for crochet hook. So I'm using a 5mm crochet hook, but if you feel like you need to use a 5.5mm hook, then I think it is worth doing, because I mean, it's quite elasticated, but yes, I don't know. So anyhow, we need to carry on with this particular stitch until the remainder of the back, and we're going to stop at the second repeat of the row. And so if you're doing, we have to remind ourselves of the sizes. If you're doing the first size, which is 32 to 34 inches for the chest size, that is, then you need to carry on the back until it measures 24 inches. If you're doing the 36 to 38, you will need to carry on until it measures 26 inches. And if you're doing the last size, you will need to carry on until 27 inches. Oh, of course, the length of the back is totally optional and you can choose however long you want it. So I think I will just carry on with until it measures 24 inches, and when I'm there I will come back and we will start on the front. Okay, so the back is done now, and this is how it looks so far. This is the right side. There we are. And there we are, right at the top. So it's like a ginormous rectangle. And let's see if I can show you the stitch a little bit close up. There we are. I think it's quite neat. I'll see if I can change something on options, autofocus perhaps. Can you see maybe the definition a little bit more now? I don't know, I'm not convinced. Anyway, it's quite an interesting stitch, and it was really enjoyable to do. And of course we are nowhere near finished, are we? I mean, this is just the back, and thus far the back measures, and I will do that right now. It measures 24 inches long. So I am doing the smallest size. So I will go through with that with you right now. So for the smallest size, I have done, so in total there are 6 rows of ribbing, and then for the main part of the back of the cardigan, I did rows 1 and 2, 41 times in total, which means 82 rows, and that measures 24 inches. So I'm going to take the size guideline that I wrote down. There we are. So if you're going to do this size cardigan, this is the normal chest size of a lady, and this is the actual measurement of the garment. So if you're going to do the first size, you have to carry on until the back measures 24 inches. I'm looking at my notes, I'm sorry guys. If you want to do the second size, which is 36 to 38 inches chest, then you would have to carry on until your back measures 26 inches. And if you're doing the third size, which is 40 to 42 inch chest, then you would have to carry on until the back measures 27 inches. So that's it. The back is done, and here I've got some yarny stitch markers, because I'm going to use the other stitch markers for the fronts. So of course I had to put some like temporary stitch markers here, so I used yarn. So there we are, the back is done. I will pause now and we will begin on the sides.